hybrid grading approach.
Today we have the one, the only, the great Mr. Spud Webb. I know if there's anybody in the audience right now who's, 25 years or older, they know who Spud Webb is. But if not, we're going to get into it today. You're going to want to stay tuned to the show. Real quick, before we get into that, I just want to give a shout out to HGA, our partner, and the people in the queue. We've gotten amazing feedback about these interviews, and if it wasn't for our audience, if it wasn't for the people listening and watching and supporting, we wouldn't be doing these. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to go right into it because, your claim to fame is beating Dominique Wilkins in the 1986 slam dunk competition. What was that like? What was going through your head before that event, Mr. Spud Webb? I'm really, really excited and grateful to have you on the show today.
Well, before the dunk contest, I was just trying to play in the NBA. That was the farthest thing from my mind now. Being in a dunk contest, and especially going against Dominique, which I think is the best dunker in the history of the NBA, and a good friend. So, you just wanted to participate. You wanted to go out and try to win the dunk contest. I was too busy trying to make the NBA team and stay on the NBA team than going around trying to win a dunk contest. So I just in my mind, I knew the dunks I could do. So I just went out and, did the repertoire dunks that I could do.
I was going to introduce you and say, this guy's a true testament of heart over talent, but it's both because you don't get to the NBA without talent, but you have tremendous heart. So talk to us. What's that journey like? People forget when you get to the NBA, it's the top 350 players in the whole world.
Yeah, it's no bust in the NBA. You're on the NBA team. If you're at the end of the bench, you're a success story. So just to get the opportunity to play 12 years in the NBA, most people look at you and go, "Oh, you won a dunk contest," but I actually had stats in over 800 games, and sometimes. When I get interviewed or introduced, it's always just the NBA slam dunk champ. It's never 12-year NBA vet and these many stats. Like my buddies was calling me like, "Man, you had 18 assists in a playoff game." Yeah, I did play. So, it's along those things. But, God given me the gift of playing the NBA. So I just try to work hard so I can stay there and get better. And that's what I tried to do over my 12-year career, is try to get better every year.
For sure. You had over 8,000 points, over 4,000 assists. And I looked at some of the players you played and the things that they've said, they've only spoken amazing things about you as a teammate, as a friend, as a mentor. So you're absolutely right. The 12-year career trumps the dunk contest. I'm in total agreement.
Well, listen, he's talking about improving year over year, right? So let's just talk about the topic du jour of the NBA today, because I'm waiting for Ben Simmons or Giannis or somebody to do the old granny style, and put the ball between their legs and shoot free throws that way. But a lot of people don't know this about Spud. Spud, people know about the slam dunks, but his last year in the league, he led the league in free throw shooting, 93.4% from the line. Which, there are a couple guys who could do that now, not that many. And you got guys shooting, they get up there, they get 2 shots. We're lucky if they hit one of them. What do you make of that, Spud? Is that people just not working on their game? Because, you were an 80-something% free throw shooter your career, but that last year, you really, you really turned it on a bit. Is that something people just need to work on and they don't?
Yeah, you definitely have to work on it. When I played in Atlanta, my first couple of years, we had a assistant coach named Cassie Russell. And me and Doc Rivers used to shoot after practice because he used to tell me, "You're going to be on this team. You're going to learn to shoot free throws." So we knew Doc was going to be a coach when we played with him. But, people don't know that. Like in that time that I led the league in free throw shooting, some of the best free throw shooters in the history of the game were playing with Larry Bird, Mark Price, and Reggie Miller, and those type of guys. So
Stockton wasn't a bad free throw shooter himself, right?
Yeah. So, I take that as a great honor that I was trying to get to about 95%, but David Robinson hit me in the nose the second to last game, and I missed the free throw because I was trying to get as high as I could. I had about 40 in a row at one time, and that was just a goal of mine to shoot in the 90s. And once you get up there, you want to get a little higher. So I tell kids at basketball camps or whatever, trivia, what guy won the slam dunk contest and led the league in free throw percentage? It's a great quiz that nobody knows.
That's right. It's true. And is that something you work on with the kids now? Is that, I mean, obviously, you work with kids now. So, I mean, is it just a repetitive thing? Is it just, hey, time in the gym will work out in the game? And you think the guys who are in the game now are just focusing on athletic stuff and, the dunks and whatnot and not focusing on that aspect of the game?
Well, it has to be stubborn for guys to make that much money and get on TV and that embarrassing shooting free throws. You got, all the money they have, all the time people want to work with people. I don't see why guys don't find someone to teach them how to shoot free throws or shoot jump shots like Ben. You feel sorry for him because he's so talented and such a good player and so young that you figure somebody can grab a hold to him and teach him a better way to shoot. And if you don't become 50%, shoot at least, 40, 45% so that he can help the team because, when you get in the playoff, people going to bring out the worst in you if you're not, working on your game in the summer to compensate doing other things. And Giannis too. Giannis got to get in there too.
That's it. Giannis, if you're listening to this, if you're in the queue to get your cards graded by HGA, reach out to Spud. And you've helped people, right? I mean, not just in the G League where you are now, but, you helped Nate Robinson, right? I mean, did Nate reach out to you with his dunk contest? You were there, right? I mean, you were there, he jumped over you, right?
Yeah, the funny thing about that is I had stopped going to dunk contests because I fell in love with golf. So I was just out playing golf every day. And Herb Williams was coaching the team. He called me, Nate wants you to come to the dunk contest. I'm like, man, I don't go. And then the Knicks started calling like, Nate wants you to come. And he's lucky that I was in Houston that year. So I just drove down. Supposed to play golf, but it was so cold. So I just called them and say, hey, I'm in town. And Nate was like, yeah, she'll come to the gym. I want to show you what I'm going to do. So we walked in. We wasn't in there like 2 minutes. And he just took off his jacket and he jumped over me. I mean, the dude didn't even warm up. And he jumped over me like 3 times and didn't touch me. He said, we're going to do that if I get in the finals. But we couldn't wait till the finals because Iguodala was doing some amazing dunks, and he had to use me before he got to the finals.
Yeah, man. I mean, Goldberg, you like tossing the ball. He jumped over him. It was pretty crazy. So your dunk competition, I read a quote from your coach at the time. It was Mike Fratello. And, I mean, this could be baloney. There's a million things. This is like the stuff of lore, man. So, don't hold me to it, right? But, Mike's not here, so he can't tell me whether he actually said it or not. But, Neek was he was the defending champ. And, basically the way the story goes is that, he never even saw you dunk before this competition. And, no one knew what you were doing. And, Fratello said you kind of duped him a little bit because, Wilkins was, he's just going to do his normal repertoire, which is enough for any superhuman athlete. I mean, that guy, human highlight reel, talk about earning a nickname. But that you kind of sneaked up on him a little bit, which I guess is something you've been doing on people your whole life. Is there any truth to that? You kind of caught him sleeping a bit?
Yeah. So like I said, I was, trying to make the team, stay on the team. And I had twisted my ankle the week before that, but was still playing. No load management back then. So the night before the dunk contest, I thought I'd go somewhere and rest and get ready for the dunk contest, but they called me to be on the Johnny Carson show. And when you're on the Johnny Carson show, it's not like 10 shows. When you're on Johnny Carson, you done made it, right? Everybody wants to be on Johnny Carson. So I did that the night before the dunk contest and then flew to Dallas to do the dunk contest. So I didn't get a chance to practice. So Neek never seen me dunk before, except for, maybe in a game one-handed dunk or something. I don't think he knew the repertoire dunks that I could do. But that kind of, I think, surprised him. But I was glad that it ended where it did because I know I didn't have any more dunk left, and I know he probably had a bunch left.
You emptied the wardrobe on him, right? Yeah. So, and guys, for the folks listening at HGA, Johnny Carson is like the Michael Jordan. So you got your Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon now. Those are like your Zion and your Luka. And then, LeBron was kind of maybe, I don't know, Letterman or Leno. Carson, you made it. You're on Carson. People used to just like block out times. I'm going to grab my 6-pack. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to watch Johnny, So that's, you had to do that. No load management, Spud.
No low management on that, but there's no way you can turn down Johnny Carter. He's the best.
That's the deal. He 100% was. So here's what's funny. I didn't think we'd go here, but to get to that level, you always, my partner here, I never bought it. We watched The Last Dance and, Jordan getting himself amped up for games. You guys at that level, you have a chip on your shoulder, right? You just do, right? It's that you get whatever it is, it's going to challenge you and get you to that level. And it's funny, we're talking about your free throw shooting. And you say, I would have hit 95 cents if David Robinson didn't elbow me. Like, you remember that. All this time later, you remember that happening, right? So my question for you is, with that chip on your shoulder, you're drafted by the Pistons, right?
Mm-hmm.
You ever turn it up a little bit when you played the Pistons? Because you didn't actually, you didn't make that team. They didn't stick, right? So
they drafted me. They had about 900 rounds.
Yeah, they had 100 guards.
They had to draft people, so they drafted me. But I never went to training camp with the Pistons. So before the draft, my agent was telling me that either the Lakers or the Atlanta Hawks is going to draft me in second round. But they tell everybody that probably. So I ended up signing with where I thought I had a better chance of making the team was with Atlanta. And so Doc Rivers was hurt at the time, and I think Eddie Johnson was holding out. So me and the guy they drafted in the second round, which was Cedric Toney, we had an opportunity to play. And I ended up actually starting the first game of my NBA career. So it was the first NBA game that I ever saw. Started in, played in, started in, and scored 18 points and 10 assists. So, just the Pistons, you always had something to go out against them because then too, you loved Isaiah Thomas, so you wanted to play well against the best point guard. But the one year I had 18 assists against them in the playoff game, and I think we put them out of one playoff series and they put us out one. But you always want to play against a team that didn't give you opportunities.
Spud, what did you trade on? What was your defining characteristic, right? Like, how were you able to find a niche in the NBA when everyone was so big, so strong? What did you go to? Where did you find your edge, right? Because at that level, difference it's so small. Where were you able to find your edge in your game?
Yeah, that's funny you asked that. That's a great question because when you're in training camp, whatever team you're in training camp with, this is what I figured out when I went to the Hawks. We in Charleston, South Carolina, I think, in training camp. And I'm like, there's Dominique Wilkins, there's Kevin Willis, you got Tree Rollins, Randy Whitman, you got all Dominique Wilkins, you got Cliff Livingston, Antoine Carr, John Battle. You got all these guys that can score. Doc Rivers. Nobody's passing the ball. So I figured if I could pass the ball and generate easy shots, it's just, no way they can ignore that. So by the time, about the second or third day, the veterans wouldn't let the other veterans, harass make us bring them newspaper, donuts to the practice in the morning, make us drive them to training camp. They stopped letting me do that because I was passing so much to those guys. I guess they had nobody there that was passing the ball before. So that's how I kind of made that niche. They said that niche you had to have and find that niche where you belong. And I figured that creating shots for all that talent Atlanta had got me on the team.
I was talking to my dad the other day, and we, it's one of those fun conversations. He was like, the Bulls in '96. Could they beat the Warriors of 2016? If you put the Bulls today, would they win? And outsiders like us, we didn't play in the NBA. We don't know. We're just talking. But people on the inside, I'm curious. Like, I think the question is bigger than that. Just the way it's formed. It's what do you make of the style of the NBA today versus the style then?
Well, I don't know if Golden State can beat them with the rules that the 96 played with. The rules are a little different now and a little easier to score. And you don't like it because it's a lot of jump shots, just pick and roll and jump shots. You really see some plays, post up and things like that, old school type stuff. But, I watch the game every day and every night, but I don't like all the 3-pointers, but that's what is involved to it. And if you can't shoot three, you won't make the NBA. So you have to, every team is going that way. I don't like a guy dribbling 900 times till he get a shot on the pick and roll. I don't like a guy shooting from the logo, even if he make it, because back in the day you get pulled out for that, shooting the ball that far out. But the game has changed, man, and that's what people want to see, high scoring, and I take a little credence to the people breaking records and doing all that stuff, because you have no centers, you have no power forwards, you can't elbow, you can't hand check, flagrant one if you touch somebody in the face. So it's a little different now, but you know what? I understand that, because they get paid so much. You don't want those guys hurt, and you see what happens when guys get hurt now. Every team can't compete because teams are so stacked now.
Listen, Spud, I think, and I'm old enough to remember when you came into the league, and I was watching that slam dunk competition myself. I think you played in what I would consider the golden age of basketball, and I'm going to run through a couple names here, because when you started in the mid '80s and played to the end of the '90s, your career span, you got to see the tail end of Kareem, Dr. J. You saw Magic and Bird. You saw Michael Jordan from the very beginning. You saw Dominique. You saw Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Shaq, and Alonzo Mourning, and those guys, and you actually traded, I think, once for Christian Laettner. Now, I'm not going to put him in there as names of those greats, but, the same draft class as Shaq. And at the very end of your career, you were still in the league when Kobe came in, right? So that is a myriad of just, the top 50 players of all time, top 100 players of all time. Who is the best you ever saw while you were playing?
Well, Michael Jordan is the best basketball player I've ever seen. I think what separates star from superstar is the killer instincts. Him, Magic, Bird, those three guys, man, they had killer instincts. I like Patrick Ewing and Akeem too. David Robinson, Tim Duncan. But man, but Jordan, Bird, and Magic, that's just a different level. Those guys wanted to win. They was good enough to win, and they demanded guys on your team to hold you accountable. And I think that's what you see in different superstars today.
You mentioned Patrick Ewing, right? And I was a huge Patrick Ewing fan from Georgetown through the Knicks. I live in New York. I got to give credit to one of your teammates. I used to watch every Knick game as a kid in the 80s, right? So I watched every Knick game. And I would like, before there were stats, like I would track Patrick's got this many points, got this many rebounds. Like I was like doing fantasy against myself. It was pretty crazy, fantasy before fantasy what's even came out. You know who used to own Patrick Ewing? Maybe because of the wide body? Kevin Willis and his little baby jump hook. He used to just beat up on Patrick. He had Patrick's number, that guy. He really did. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, Kevin could run the floor real well.
So he got him tired,
centers can run the floor, power forwards. But, I actually, my last year, I played with Kevin Garnett for along with Storm Kareem in Kobe's rookie year. So, I got to see a lot of the good, talented top 50 guys like George Gervin, Gus Williams. Got the opportunity to play against those two guys because you watch them on TV, and want to emulate their game. And the most of all, I played against Dr. J because he was my idol growing up, and once you see a guy like that, you try to play like him, but you can't. So, got the opportunity to meet him, and he was more nicer than a person than you expected from a superstar athlete.
So speaking of Spud, right? So longevity is huge, right? I mean, you get a little success. My co-host here tries to ground me all the time. I'm like, we're the best to what we do. That's it. We're going to be the best forever, and you get all this, the accolades, success. You hit that dunk competition. You won that. Yeah, your fan favorite rookie year, and all of a sudden you find yourself sponsored by Coke, Church's Fried Chicken, Pony shoes, which were cool. Guys, look them up. I liked Pony at the time. I had a pair. Trust me, I had a pair when I was 10 years old. I had a pair of Ponies. Hardee's, Sunkist, Chips Ahoy, right? Like, how do you remain level-headed? How do you not let that just go to your head and then just, all right, I'm Spud Webb. I'm the dunk champ. I'm going to come in next year. I don't have to work as hard.
Yeah, when you have parents that worked all their life and help a lot of people and humble like that, I guess it just rubbed off because, once my first year, I was like, how could I, help other people? How can I, help other people make it college or high school or camps? I don't know if that was from my dad always helping somebody or my mom always helping somebody. I figured how can I help? And that's why Dallas. I grew up in Dallas in the Boys and Girls Club that raised a lot of money from them from doing all that type of stuff, camps and with the pony and Chips Ahoy and the whole works. Because we get to donate stuff to those to my community where I grew up. So that most of all was the best thing about being a professional athlete is helping other people. I mean, God give us the gift to play, and we're blessed to do that. Because I know at 5'7", no muscles, to go out and win a dunk contest, it got to be a gift. So, you just try to work hard so you can keep it. So you can keep
I'm a little guy too, Spud. You're a hero to me because I'm tiny. I'm a little dude. So
you're the little guy in your family. You're 6 foot 250, 6'3".
I'm the smallest one in my family. Go ahead, Andrew.
I'm curious, Spud. You said Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. They had that killer instinct. Did Shaq have that?
Yeah, Shaq had the killer instinct. I mean, I played a couple years against Shaq, but not, the most years when he was in LA when we really seen the real Shaq. But I mean, the year they played Houston in the finals, but Akeem went to work that series. But yeah, I think Shaq is the most dominating center that I've seen. I know Wilt and all those guys, Moses Malone, they had some great stats, but Akeem was different.
I think you're going to have insight on this that nobody. I've watched ESPN the last week, every outlet talking about the Sixers, but I think you're going to have a unique perspective on this. I asked that question because as dominant as Embiid is, a center needs a guard to win a championship, right? Because in the last 2 minutes, the lane gets clogged and you need perimeter shooting. So you're looking at the Sixers. You're brought in to be the GM. You know Doc Rivers as well as anybody. What do you do? What are your moves? Do you change the culture inside out? Do you bring somebody else in?
Yeah, I mean, every if you look at all the centers, you can go back on all the championship. All of them had a guard that can get put on the floor and do things. They tried it with Harris a little bit though, but that last play when Embiid got the ball stolen from him, you just never want a center out there handling the ball like that. Unless it's Jokic,
right?
Unless it's the Joker out there handling it, but. When that turnover happened, so because you didn't have that guard like Shaq had Kobe, and Michael to Curry's to all those. If you look at all those teams, they had a point guard that can take over a team, or a guard that can take over a team. With Wade with Miami, so I think if he work on his game this summer, if they don't trade him or get other people, that's a hard talent to get off of at 24 years old. But he's gonna have to learn to shoot and score.
And a lot of people, it's not even going to be talked about, but the play before that, Embiid shot a three. And I was thinking, what are you doing shooting a three? Because no one's going to be rebounding. Who's going to be grabbing the offensive? A follow-away three. Well, yeah. And when you're doing that, there's nobody grabbing the rebound and doing a putback. So it's my Sixers. I'm a Philly guy.
I can tell. It's frustrating to watch, guys do that because you go, man, he posts up. That's easy 2 points, a foul. But, that's what we've came to, shooting the threes.
I'm curious. So a lot of people in the hobby, so just a little bit about sports cards and collectibles. Over the last year, the nostalgia, people my age, I'm 31. I collected cards in the 90s. Steve Smith, people don't talk about him. I know you played with him. He was someone I collected for some reason. But they kind of made a resurgence, right? And a lot of the guys in the hobby are, pivoting from other careers to go and do this full time or try to make it a full time job. Talk to me. I'm curious about your upbringing. I'm curious about what Spud Webb was like as a kid that helped him. You mentioned your dad that helped him get to the level of the NBA. Talk to us about what was Spud like as a kid.
Well, I grew up. Everybody have their story. I grew up in the projects, Dallas, and moved from West Dallas to South Dallas, which is a lateral movement. But I got the opportunity to a guy to take us off the streets and try to teach us different things. I guess he thought we had talent, so he would make sure we go to the boys club and try to keep us in sports. But I grew up with both my parents, and they worked hard, and we wasn't 3 boys, 3 girls. I'm still trying to little Brady Bunch. I'm still trying to figure out where all us slept in that little place. But You know, you just seen your sisters and brothers and mother them work, and you say, well, I want to do that. I want to go to school. I want to work. But I only played 1 year of high school basketball, so and ended up going to junior college and winning the national junior college championship and ended up at NC State. But growing up was rough because, you know, you just try to find somewhere to play basketball. So, you know, wasn't no AAU, wasn't no select, wasn't none of that stuff. So just wherever they let you play, you played, and you walk to the gym or walk to another gym or walk to a park, backyard, you know, just wherever you could play. You just try to go out and try to play against the best competition. I had a buddy that was 2 years older than me that really kind of took us around to tell us where we're going to play and who's going to play. And it was kind of like a mentor to us.
Now you're kind of a mentor, right? So you're a mentor and you run the business. So it's kind of, you have to wear two hats. And I'm curious how you do this, right? So you're president of operations for the Texas Legends, a G League team, but it's affiliated with the NBA. So you see all these young guys, they come in, the game's changed, they're chucking threes from the logo, Curry. How are you mentoring them? You know, how do you play your role? I'm curious.
Well, I've been with the Texas Legends for like 11 years now. So Donnie Nelson owned that team. They sold them to Mark Cuban on the team now. But I just try to, you know, keep not only the coaches, you know, like interns, you know, former players that want to come, all of them want to come back, but want to get into coaching. You know, you help guys go overseas. Then, you know, the guys that get called back and forward, two-way players from the Mavericks, and then guys that get picked up by 10-day contracts. So, you know, you just try to tell them what's the truth is, you know, because, you know, every guy think on the G League think they're ready for the NBA. And I tell them it's a reason why you're here. It's good and bad. It's good that you're still playing basketball, but it must be something that they want you to see other than scoring, other than defense, that they want to see out of you for you to get picked up. So you have to be very honest with them that so that they can go out and work on their game. If they take it the wrong way, then that's their fault. They don't need that. They don't have the mentality to go to the NBA because coaches and players are going to test you, and the game is going to test you. So, you know, you just try to get them ready for that moment. Some of the guys that you have will go be tough-minded because they didn't play overseas. They played in different countries, so they kind of tough. But, you know, the ones that coming out of college is the one that you got to really grab because they've been pampered and just not tough on enough to make it sometime.
But have you ever seen any of your cards? You ever seen any of your basketball cards? I mean, where folks are listening to this, watching this while they're in a queue trying to get their cards graded by HGA. You ever see any of your stuff?
Yeah. Every time when something come across it, and people, my buddy Ryan, I see your card on and cut it on here, cut it on here, cut it on. And I said, man, if you get it, you get it. I get it to my grandson or something like that there. But he gets stuff from Panini to give to my grandson. He gets stuff like the rookie card, Flair, and all that. Boy,
yeah,
real back to get
that's a cool card.
Yeah, right there. Everybody bring that card for me to sign. I like. Well, I don't know which one is the first rookie card, but that's the one that everybody have.
That's it. That is the card. I mean, look at you. And so what's funny about it is, you know, folks watching this who are in the more modern stuff.
Spud's on the way up on that one too. He probably got up to his elbow.
Oh yeah,
that's what I tell everybody.
His head's gonna hit the rim. It looks sort of like Jordan's card. I think you know, I like this dunk a little better than the Jordan card. I put them next to each other. I like the Spud dunk better.
Well, that was off 2 feet.
You know what's funny? Just to, you know, you mentioned Panini. Just to talk about, like, you know, the kids who are in the more modern stuff now. 1920 Mosaic, Andrew, has a Jam Masters set, is what it's called, right? And your icons in that, your Dr. J has a card. It's got some of the guys who are, you know, in NBA history, some of the greatest dunks. You can pull one up, sure, Spud. You made that set. You're in the 1920 Mosaic Jam Masters set.
I think somebody told me that. My buddy Ryan, he watches the shows all the time, and he called me and I think he told me about that.
It's a pretty cool card. You see the card, yeah. So I mean, there you go. Look at you, Jam Masters. I mean, that's pretty fancy.
Number one cage too.
Yeah, pretty fancy looking compared to. Well, they did it in height order, Spud. So don't get too excited. They did it. It's like class picture time. That's what they did. But yeah, I mean, so here you are. It's 1986. We're talking about 35 years later, and they're making cards with you still. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, people like man, people still come up to you and people ask you to sign cards. I say, you must have done something right. If they don't come up to you and talk to you, ask to sign the cards, that means you were sorry. So
what I find funny is I look online, I see cards of you signed in your Kings, in your Sacramento uniform. I guess you had some fans in your time in Sacramento as well.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that about the Sacramento Kings. I never had Sacramento Kings jersey, and a guy just gave it to me like this year, because everybody come up with the Atlanta Hawk, the slam dunk jersey, but now I finally have a Sacramento King jersey in my house after all these years.
That's funny. I keep a business card from every job I have. You can hang your jersey up on the wall. It's a little different. That's awesome.
You know what I think, Cage? Why this class gets so much love is people don't realize the 1980s and early 90s. Like, I love the history of basketball. It wasn't the NBA of today. It wasn't that big of a sport. The salaries weren't that big. The endorsements weren't that big. And not just the talent, but the personalities. And I think what you guys did really well is you kind of built a fraternity. The NBA has a bit of a fraternity vibe to it, where the players take care of each other now.
Right.
And I think those classes, I call them classes, but like those decades put the NBA on the map that it is today, a multi-billion-dollar organization now.
Yeah, when Bird and Magic, then Jordan took over, those guys kind of like saved personalities came out,
Mm-hmm.
Usually, the NBA was just hard playing, rough guys in the 70s till the personalities of Magic and Larry Bird in the 80s, and Michael Jordan just took off with it. And when, Shaq and Kobe and those guys came along, they just, and LeBron just ran with it like no other. So hopefully, the young guys can keep it going. I mean, Steph Curry, we love him. So hopefully young guys that's coming along can learn from what these guys are doing, the Durants, and play like them and work on their game so that they can keep going forever.
We won't keep you too much longer, but we'd be remiss if we didn't ask you. The Hawks, the team that you are most associated with, they're in the playoffs and they're making a pretty deep run.
Yeah.
What do you think of their chances? What do you think?
Oh, I love it because I wish Radish and Hunter was healthy. That would make it really tough because you have more bodies for Middleton but hopefully they can pull it out. I'd definitely be pulling for them.
My partner here, Andrew, he's a huge Cam Reddish fan.
Yeah, I'm gonna be pulling for him hard. I done pulled out my jersey and everything tonight. When my buddies come over to watch the game, we'll sit around and smoke cigars and watch the game. So hopefully I'll get a victory cigar.
Go ahead. I'm a Nate McMillan fan because he took this team at a really tough spot, and I think they were like 10-20. I can't remember their exact record.
Yeah,
and then 26-11 after that, took him to the Eastern Conference Finals. He deserves some credit, and he did that with the Pacers before. A lot of people forget the success he had with that team. So he's the true champion in my eyes.
Yeah, me and Nate was the backcourt at NC State, so I'm really, it's a double. I'm a double pull for the Hawks tonight because Nate is a good friend too. So and glad he's doing a good job, and hopefully the Atlanta Hawks give him deserving contract.
With a young team, and I was going to ask you about this. This is a perfect segment. He has that calm demeanor, that stoic demeanor. We've been here. You bring that. Like I could chill. I could just talk to you all day because it's that. And when you have young guys, it's nervous, right? They've never been on that spotlight. The Hawks had 4 nationally televised games this year, and now they're every single game is. So it's very important to have that demeanor, I believe.
Yeah, I think Nate that during his coaching years, man, a lot of guys respected him so much, like Coach K and all those guys would take him to the Olympics and to the U.S. Tryouts and all that. So he's learned a whole lot of demeanor, how to have older and younger guys, and how to relate to the young guys, because you have to be able to relate to the young guys these days. They'll still probably run you crazy. But so Nate has caught on to that, and he knows the game. He's been around it forever in coaching. So I'm just so happy for him and hopefully get another contract. Then I can go to Atlanta and watch more games.
Assistant coach.
No coaching for me. Coaches get fired. I'm a front office guy. Coaches get fired.
Love it. He's like, think bigger, Cage. Think bigger. Think higher. Don't sell me so short.
I have 2 last questions. I want to hear an inside story on the 92 Dream Team. Can you give us something on that team that we haven't heard? Because I want footage of that practice. Nothing?
Nothing. I mean, the guys sit around, they don't talk about that much, that Dream Team. Because only thing, you look at it and you go, they didn't use one timeout. And, you be like, what? They didn't use one timeout. That's the only thing I remember. But most of the time when we're sitting around golf tournaments or charity events, the guys sitting around rubbing each other like we wasn't there. It's stories that you can't tell.
Okay. The Dallas Mavs. I mean, they found Luka. Luka's a generational talent. Now they have maybe the 2 best positions available in the whole NBA. You got a front office position, Spud, looking at you, and they have a coach in position. What do you see for the future of the Mavs?
Well, definitely, they're gonna have to find somebody to play along with Luka. I mean, I wouldn't give up on KP that soon, but they're gonna have to find somebody to go around. They got to find some shooters around him too if they're gonna play that type of basketball that kind of like James Harden 2.0 they playing. They're gonna have to get some shooters around him, but hopefully they find a good general manager and hopefully find a good coach that can come in and relate to the young guys, and I think that's important.
Can you give us your prediction for the NBA champion this year?
Man, that's gonna be tough. You like to see Chris Paul win it because he fought so hard over the years. I would like to see him win it, but if my Hawks gonna go there, I'm gonna have to pull for the Hawks. So, but the Milwaukee's a tall task for Atlanta because I think Giannis is real hungry, and he as bad as he shoots free throws, I like how hungry and how dedicated he is to playing so hard to try to win.
As just last question, I apologize. As a front office guy or as a coach, if you could put your coaching hat on, do you want someone like Giannis who's shooting threes but making maybe 3 out of 30? Or do you want someone like Ben Simmons that knows his game and anywhere in between those two,
Because he wants to play with no 3-pointers. He wants the 3-pointer taken out of the game.
No, I would play with Giannis. I would play with Giannis before that. But, I mean, the ideal guy is definitely Durant because he does a lot. But, I mean, LeBron at the end. But Anthony Davis is the one that, the talent that you say, man, he got to do better than that.
I love it. We've had some amazing guests. Spud, as an NBA fan, this is truly a pleasure. Good luck next season. I appreciate you joining us for the show today. It means the world to us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Bud.
Yeah, good luck too.
Good luck out there on the golf course, man. Good luck.
Oh, I'm gonna need it. My game is terrible right now.
Take care.
All right, guys.